let's do one of these problems, we'll do it with and without the calculator. And what we want to find is the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of each data set. And the second thing we want to know is which measure of central tendency best describes the data and why. So that's a whole different discussion right here, which is a good one to get into. So let's look at the problem number one here, number of students per class. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of data. Now, if I wasn't thinking quickly, I would say, oh, well, I got 8 pieces of data. The median is going to be right in the middle, so I would take 25 plus 16, and then I would divide that by 2, and then I would find the median. Not true, because in order to find the median, I first have to put all this data in order. So if I want to put it in order, I can see I've got 16, and I cross that out. My next biggest one, I think, is 19, and I cross that one out. And my next biggest one is 20, and I have 2 of those, so I have to write it twice. Then I have 25, 27, 28, and 32. So do I have all my data here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 pieces of data. But, you know, look, this is just 8 pieces of data. And, I mean, it took a while, and it's kind of hard to figure out anyways. So if I want to calculate the median now, I could find the middle point, which would be right here. So it would be 20 plus 25 divided by 2, 22.5. And if I want to find out what the average is, well, I got to add up all these different numbers here, and then divide by 8. But, you know, I don't want to do that with a pencil and paper. If I'm going to do that with my calculator, why not just use the calculator to do it? So I'm going to go Stat, Edit. Now, I have these lists from before. I want to clear them out. I want to start all over again. So what I do to clear it out is I go up until the list number is highlighted. And then I press the Clear button. Do not press the Delete button. Just press the Clear button and then go Enter. And list 2 is cleared out. Let's do it for list 1. I'm going to go over to list 1. I'm going to go up to the L1. And notice down here at the bottom, it is showing all that I have in list 1 in kind of a set notation with the brackets. I want to clear that out. I go L1, I go Clear. All that data goes away. And now I can press Enter, and it goes away in the list as well. Now, if you press the Delete button, well, I'll just show you what's going to happen. If I press the Delete button, I'm on L1, I'm going to go up here to L1, and I press Delete, and L1 has now vanished. I can't get it anymore. It's no longer to be found. So if I want to regroup it, if I want to get it back, I go Stat, and I have my menu here. The very last one is Setup Editor. And I press 5, and I press Enter, and it says Done. What it's doing is it's resetting up my whole thing. So I'm going to press Enter right now. I already did that. And if I go Stat 1, now you can see I have all of my lists. So rather than doing all this adding by hand, I'm just going to use my calculator for the whole thing. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to bother to put the numbers in order. I'm just going to put them in the order that they're given to me. So I go 27, Enter. 19, Enter. 20, Enter. 25, Enter. 16, Enter. 32, Enter. 28, Enter. 20, Enter. And you can see right down here where it says L1, parentheses 9, it means I'm on the 9th data item. Well, I haven't entered the 9th data item, so it means I've entered 8 data items, and I know that that's how many that I have. So I've got all the data items. I'm hoping I entered them correctly. And since I entered, for example, in this case here, I know I had 2 20s. I could have put an L2 for frequency, or the count for how many, but you know, it was just easier just to enter them in, because it would have just been 27, there's only one 27, 19, there's only one 19. I could have been put in 20 and then a 2, but it's better just to put them in as a whole list. So I've got my list in there. I go stat, calc, I shift it over to calc. It's a one variable statistic, which is the number of students per class in this problem. So I press 1. And all of my information now is in L1. So I go second, 1, and I press enter, and what do you know? I've got a mean of 23.35, 23.375, sorry, 375. And I'm going to scroll. I got 8 data items. See, my N says I got 8 data items. And if I scroll down here, I find out that my median indeed is 22.5, just like we calculated. Now, the last thing it's asking me for here is, well, I can find the mode. The mode is the most frequent one. You can see I'm not real excited about mode, and we know that the mode is 20. I can find the range. Remember, the range is the difference between the minimum and the maximum. Well, if you look over here at this thing where I found the median, what do you know? It gives me the minimum value. I didn't have to put them in order. And it gives me the maximum value. I didn't have to put it in order. So the range is going to be 32 minus 16. Well, that's going to be 16. So there's going to be my range. So what I would advise you in working these problems is to do them by hand, and then do them using your calculator and make sure that you get the same results. And that way you'll understand the concept really well doing them by hand, and it'll help give you the calculator practice that you need so that when you're doing these kind of problems on the SAT or the PSAT or the ACT, you can do them much more quickly. I'm going to answer this second question as to which measure of central tendency best describes the data in a separate little video. Okay.